Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to Staying Sharp with the Sharps. It's a show all about staying sharp with biblical truths. And joining us this week is the man, the myth, the legend, Leefe Actkinson. Man, how are you doing?
I am fantastic. How are you?
Awesome, dude. We're doing great, man. We just got some McDonald's, feeling pretty good.
Don't feel good.
Camilla doesn't feel good. I mean, does anybody really ever eat a Big Mac and like, I'm glad I ate that?
Well,
you know?
I didn't eat a Big Mac, but no, I've never said that.
Well, yeah, that's
I'm
McDonald's.
going to be saying that later.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, folks, we've got a great show for you today. We're going to have Leefe coming on. He's bringing you a couple of his favorite verses this week. But before we do, we always have our guests play a game. And this one, you guys probably recognize. We played this a couple of weeks ago, but we've got more questions for it. And it's the game is called Before You Were Born. So, Leefe, the way that this game works is that I'm going to name a specific event, and you're going to have to guess if it was before or after you were born. So we got to know before we go into the show, what year were you born?
In 2002.
Oh my gosh, that makes me feel old. First event that we're going to have you guess if it was before you were born is Toy Story 2 hit theaters. Was that before or after you were born?
I think that was actually before I was born.
All right, let's find out. It was on November 24th, 1999. That makes me feel even more old. Awesome. This is a great game I picked. Second event, SpongeBob SquarePants first TV episode premiered.
I think that was after I was born.
Okay.
My
Final answer.
Yeah, I think I'm going to say it was after. I honestly don't know.
All right. This is probably going to shock some people, but the first episode of SpongeBob aired on May 1st, 1999. We got SpongeBob and Toy Story 2 in the same year.
Well, also, how old is SpongeBob now?
Yes, too old.
21 now.
Something like that. Okay, here's the next one. Sony released the PlayStation 2 video game console.
I think that was definitely after I was born.
Okay, let's see. It was on March 4th, 2000.
Oh my goodness.
Man. It's just like the years just keep blending together. Let me see what other
I was
one.
playing the original Xbox, and I don't remember the PlayStation 2 even being out yet, but I must have just been behind.
Yep. Well, speaking of the Xbox, here's the other one, and we'll see if you can do this. Name the day and month Microsoft released the Xbox 360.
How about,
Let's just do the year.
do you know what year it is?
No, the card doesn't say.
It's not listed.
It's probably, I'm thinking somewhere like 2004 or 5-ish.
Do you know what month it might have been released? It's the same month that they release all the consoles.
Probably in December, usually around the holidays.
Yeah.
Maybe November.
It was November 22nd, and Logan's looking up the year.
2005.
Okay, yeah, that was close.
So, yeah, you did pretty good. It tested me out, too, because I was like, man, what year did that come out? Because I was thinking, like, I graduated high school in 2007, and I remember everybody getting the PlayStation 3. And so I was thinking, like, 2007 was the year it came out. But it was 2005 because it came out with.
I can't even remember what year, like, the Xbox Ones and the PlayStation 4s came out. It was probably, like, 2011 or something, but I can't remember, honestly.
That was 2013.
Yeah.
Because it was the year that we were married.
No?
It was the first year we got married because we went to Black Friday and we hung out outside that creepy GameStop and got a PS4.
It was that first December we got married?
Yeah.
So what year did we get married, Logan?
Oh, no.
It was not 2013, I can tell you that.
So let's continue on with the show here. We're going to get into some Bible verses. So, Leefe, man, we asked you to bring a couple verses onto the show, and the two verses that you gave us was Proverbs 27:17, and we'll read that one first, and then we'll get into the next verse. So, Camilla, if you wouldn't mind reading that verse there.
Iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another.
Right on. And so the second verse that Leefe brought on was John 15, verse 13, that says,
greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends.
Really good stuff, man. And both of those go so well together, but we always ask the guest, what is it about these verses that make them some of your favorites?
I think both of these kind of relate to me kind of in the same way, but a little bit differently. They both relate to me in the fact of more of being a part of a high school football team.
Okay.
It relate to me as like in the first one says, as iron sharpens iron, as one man sharpens another, as everyone on the team relates to having accountability to every other player. And you have to hold each other accountable, and you have to be accountable to your other teammates so that they are able to trust you and know that you're going to do what you're supposed to be doing.
Right
And
on.
that's what builds a team, is trust and knowing that your teammates are going to be accountable for their actions.
Definitely. That's awesome, man. I love it. So when it comes to the verse from John, then what about that one just kind of jumps out at you and makes it just something that you just constantly remember?
That one goes into more of the fact of just how much people are going to make fun of me for saying this, but how much actual love that I have for my friends
Mm-hmm.
and the people that I'm around every day. And it goes into saying kind of that, I mean, not necessarily that I'm going to have to die for my friends, but their love, I mean, my feelings of them towards me are so great that like, they're that important in my life.
Yeah, man. And that's good, man. I don't think anybody should make fun of that, because I think we need a lot more of that going around in today's culture and world, man. It's wild. But that's awesome. And really what's cool is about you, I've noticed that when you hang out with your friends, like there's a strong brotherhood between you and your friends. And that's cool to see it played out in your life. And really, I think that's a good testimony to even kind of the younger classmen that look up to you guys and see that as a model of this is how we should be towards each other. So I think that's awesome that not only is it one of your favorite verses, but man, you live it out, you get after it. And you're a good example of it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. So as always on Staying Sharp, we like to give you, the folks at home, some ways that you can stay sharp with these verses here. And so, Leaf, we're going to kick it off to you, man. What's one way that the folks at home can stay sharp with these verses here, or essentially live them out?
Well, one way that you guys can stay sharp and essentially live out these verses, build a relationship with the people that you're around and the people that you trust. And trust comes from accountability. Accountability means that the people you're around can trust you to do what is right. And you holding them accountable is when they're maybe not doing what they should be doing, that you let them know and you make them aware that they're not being trustworthy of you. And the other way y'all can stay sharp is by building very close relationships with your friends, and maybe friends that you think that you can have a very close relationship for the rest of your life, and kind of put your trust into those people. Find people you can put your trust into and empty your feelings out to, and just know that they'll be there for you for basically the rest of your life.
Definitely. That's awesome. That's awesome. Camilla, what's a way that folks at home can stay sharp with these verses here?
I think one way that builds accountability and also builds that friendship and that brotherhood you're talking about, or I guess sisterhood for girls,
Yeah.
is to really encourage each other. And so, because I know a lot of times we were talking about how like really in this time that's going on in the world, we really need friendship and love. And so I think people really, really need the encouragement from others. So I think that'd be a really good thing to do.
Definitely. That's awesome. I think something that I would recommend, and this is something that that I really look for opportunities to do. It's basically, as you're sharpening each other and lifting each other up, you seek out opportunities to elevate your friends or the people that you're building relationships with, and kind of celebrate their accomplishments. We hear about verses like, mourn with those who mourn, weep with those who weep, but there's another part of that verse that talks about rejoicing with those who rejoice. Someone, this is a good analogy for you, man, on football, or really in any athletic. If someone scores like a really good touchdown or makes a really good block or something like that, like celebrate that, man. Get hyped about it. Get excited about it. If someone is, I don't know, playing Fortnite and they come in clutch at the end and win the match or whatever for you guys, celebrate that. Or like, even if you see one of your friends like complimenting someone else, celebrate that. Find ways to kind of encourage one another on to good works, because in doing so, that'll sharpen one another and that'll elevate it and just kind of boost people's moods. And I think that'll kind of go a long way in helping share the love of Christ with others. And I don't know, I just think that'd be an awesome testimony for others out there.
I agree.
But yeah, awesome stuff. Well, we've reached the end of this episode of Staying Sharp. Leaf, thank you again for coming on, man, and hanging out with us and sharing some Bible knowledge with us, dude. You're a wise dude.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. So for those of you at home, thank you again for tuning into this episode. Stay safe, stay sharp. We'll see you next week.
Bye.